Last year I planted a lot of trees and I had 2 of them die on me. So they were both Arkansas black trees. One was this 1-year-old tree that I pulled out just barely, and the other was the tree that I transplanted from my old house. It was an older one. And I find it interesting that they were both the same variety, and I have never had a younger tree die on me like that. And I got it from the same place that I usually get my trees. So I don't know if there was some disease that came by or what, but I find that really interesting, especially because I live in Arkansas. You would think those trees would do well there, but they both died on me. So I am removing even my larger tree, even as hard as it is. It's a 4 or 5-year-old tree, but you can see that it is dead. I do that scratch test just to make sure, but you can also tell from the trunk of this tree that the tree is dead. So it's not taking up any nutrients. It was very easy to pull out, and it's just time to move on and plant a new tree in its spot. So I was able to get a couple of new apple trees to put in here. One is a red variety, and I actually can't remember what the other one was, but both good, very disease resistant apple varieties. That's what I have to plant. Now I'm showing this worm because I always get really excited about worms. When we moved into our land, there was like no life in our soil. Like anytime we would dig and dig and dig, I never saw a worm. And just in this last year, we have seen so many come. And every time I dig in my garden or right here, like digging where my fruit trees were, I see earthworms. I feel like that's so cool that we have worms again. It just shows that we're adding life back to the soil. We are also digging 2 new holes. These are where my Asian pear trees are going to go. Cameron lived in Korea for a couple years, and he says they are the best thing ever. So we're planting a couple of those trees. I'm really excited about this because where I live, pear trees just in general do really well. They don't have as many disease problems and as many bugs. So this is going to be hopefully really successful. I'm heading up to grab some mulch to put around the trees. Almost done for the day. Already.
There's one that fell off.
Oh, okay. That's probably the one then.
Yeah, it's slick up there.
I gotta go up and grab a couple more cages for these just for temporarily until we get the fence up.
Cool, okay.
We're in early March and I am pruning my trees today. This is not going to be a how-to video because I am no expert. I've had fruit trees for 5 years and this has been my learning time. And because fruit trees take so long to mature, I still feel like I'm kind of learning as I go along. I know about the basics and I follow those. What I do that's really simple though is I cut off all the dead wood. That's just like a really simple thing, like across the board you do for pruning.
This one.
Yeah, that one. See, that one's dead. She just.
Now I kind of know what they look like, so I can cut them.
Oh, good. And then you cut all the branches that are sticking straight up. Yeah, get all the little ones that are sticking straight up.
Okay.
Yep. So you can get that one too.
Oh. I thought you said sticking straight up.
Well, that was close enough. The branches that have like a really tight angle, you can either space them out with a spacer so they go out a little bit more, or you can cut those off and just keep the wider ones. And I try and look at like the shape of the tree and make sure it's nice and open, and that's about it. That's how I prune my trees right now. Right here I have some rubbing alcohol, and I'm using this to clean my tools. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dip this in here and go back and forth a little bit to make sure it's really clean. And that's it. And then they're all sanitized for the first tree, so you're not passing, if there's any disease or anything, you're not passing that from tree to tree. One of my older trees was growing a little bit crooked, so what I'm doing here is loosely attaching some string to the leader, and then I'm pulling that over until it's straight up and down, and then I'm going to tie that off on the T-post so it stays straight. So I planted these trees last year, and you can see it's really just small, and I didn't take a before video. I kind of wish I would have, but it had these little tiny branches coming out that were kind of bent like 6 different ways, and I did not like the shape of the tree. So most of these little trees I just trimmed down to just back to a whip, which is basically just the stick, so that I could have more control over the structure of the tree instead of the way they came from the nursery. So what I did is I pruned off the top, and this helps stimulate the side shoots to grow more, and so I'll get a good amount of branches from all different directions this year, and then next year as I prune I'll be able to decide which ones I want to keep and which ones that I can get rid of.